Please get on your feet. Give a warm rise welcome to the one, the only Adam Urbanski.
Thank you. Am I on? Okay. So this is a speaking conference, sort of. 3 tips about speaking. Number 1, if you've been in business for 12 years or longer, you probably have some other different introductions. It's best to make sure which ones are pulled down because this one is like 12 years old. Second thing, you know how to set up speaker for success? Do a really terrible introduction. I mean, look, she pumped me up so high, there's nowhere else to go but down. What if instead she said, look, here's this guy, he barely speaks English, he just got off the boat the other day. I heard he knows a thing or two about marketing, so give him a chance. That would be a lot better, right? I mean, it's like you expect 0, so I cannot possibly underperform. And the last thing, you've got a room full of women and you're a male speaker. What's the one thing you absolutely must do before you go on stage? Make sure your flight is zipped up, okay? All right, so hey, I've got a video to start us off, and then we're going to go dive right into this, all right? So let's watch this really quick. Hopefully it plays. You know, the most beautiful thing about events like this is that it brings people just like you. And every single one of you is making a difference, whether you know it or not, for millions of people. And my job is to help you think differently and use strategies that are different to help you make even bigger difference and at the same time really make a difference for the people that matter the most to you. You and the ones that are closest to you. So I want to share with you 7, possibly more lessons, how to really rise up to your full potential. And in the last 3 days, I drank a lot more than I drank in the last 3 years in a nice Caribbean island. And I did this on the flight home while sobering up, so I have no idea what's going to happen in the next 30 minutes. Chances are I'll be just as surprised at the slides as you are. I'll be like, oh, check this out. What a great idea. So, you know, I heard a story about a kid going to his dad, and he says, Dad, can I use the family car? And the dad kind of says, well, yeah, but, you know, I've got a couple of preconditions. So number 1, look at those pens around your ankles. You've got to invest in the belt, lift those pens up, and look like a normal guy. Second thing, you've got to improve your grades at school. I mean, I don't want to see any C's or lower, at least B's, hopefully B's plus and A minuses. And the last thing, you've got to get a decent haircut. And the guy says, okay. So he walks away, and a short while later, he comes back and says, Dad, can I drive a family car? And this is, well, let's look at the conditions. Well, look, Dad, I've got a belt, you know, pens where they're supposed to be, great. My grades are at least B plus and higher. I'm doing really well at school. But you know, Dad, I've been thinking, I mean, look, this haircut thing. Look, Abraham had long hair. Jesus had long hair. Moses had long hair. I mean, what's the big deal? And the dad kind of looks at him and says, you know, it's probably okay. Just keep in mind, they walked everywhere too. So here's the thing for you. You know, you've invested a lot to be here. And I bet you came here to transform not just your business, but yourself and your life. But there's one thing, if not more, there's one thing that you're just freaking unwilling to let go. And because of that, you will go home and do exactly what you've done before, over and over and over again, expecting different results. So what is that one thing that you have to let go? What is it? Is it the fear of looking stupid, making mistakes, losing all the money? I don't know what that is, but there's something that you stubbornly insist, I'll just, yes, Kristen, I'll do this, I'll do that, I'll do that. But this one thing, I'm going to do it my old way anyway. Why? Why hire mentors, coaches? Why pay for training if you insist on sticking to the one thing that holds you exactly where you are? So think to yourself, maybe even write down right now, what's the one thing you know you have to let go so you can move ahead to where you want to be? So the first lesson is you have to committing to what can be is letting what is right now. You can't be there while you are still here. It's just not going to work. You're either there or you're either here. It can't be in both places at the same time. All right? So I gave up a lot, as I said, a lot of drinking and partying with nice Caribbean people. This is Punta Cana in Dominican Republic. And true, it was not Photoshopped last night. I truly was there in that picture. All right? In fact, I was actually right there. And I also did not Photoshop myself in there. Just figured it would be better without me. But seriously, before I had a chance to travel to nice places, live in nice places, and work with amazing people like Patty and Kristen and some of the amazing thought leaders that you know today, it wasn't always like this. And in fact, you probably expect a story like I was broke, right? And I hired this amazing mentor and paid him $1 million, and then I got rich too. Well, but that's not the story I want to share with you today. So, so here's the thing. This is what I looked like when I came to U.S., all right? Oh, I was a black clothes looking like, you guys remember Matrix, like long trench coats? Well, that was me. I had pants that I could squeeze 3 of me in there. I would wrap them, tuck them in, just so the pant leg sleeves were they're like, I don't know what, they're like kimono. I thought it was kind of cool, It's like when you're 17, 18, it's like, who cares? So here's the thing. So I figured that opportunities are always elsewhere, so I wanted to come to America. The only problem with coming to America from Poland is lots of reasons. You can't get passport. The passport is not yours, it's the government's, and the government won't give you a passport. I was in the military draft age, facing a mandatory 3-year sentence in the military, so there was no way in hell they're going to give me a passport. Somehow I did. Now here's another problem. In order to even get to the U.S. Embassy in Poland at that time, it was about a year-long line. You stood in line. The line had association. Just like you have homeowners associations or something like this. Well, the line had association. You have to check in every few days that you still have your place in line. So I figured I'm going to be smarter. I'm going to bypass all of this. I'm going to go to Austria, because in Austria I can go to a Canadian consulate, and the Canadians in here. And in Canada, I'm going to be so suave and talk to this Canadian consulate. He's going to let me in. And then Americans are going to hey, come on down here, right? So I went to this beautiful city of Vienna, and it's just gorgeous. I won't spare you the story, but I ever tried to talk to Canadian consulate in Polish, and he was, for whatever reason, I spoke crystal clear Polish, so slow and eloquently, and he still wasn't getting me in English. It's like, what the hell is wrong with this guy, right? You speak slower and louder. Somehow it translates the words. Well, it didn't for me. Bottom line is I didn't get the visa. And the day before I hopped on a train, I said goodbye to all my friends, my family. It's like I'm coming back in 25 years. We'll never see each other again. Well, guess what? It got really dark at night in Vienna. Like really dark. And I don't know anybody. I don't speak Austrian or German or anything. I speak Polish. So, pretty much in a few hours, I was like one scared shitless Adam in the middle of Vienna. I was like, what do you do? So what did I do? I took my giant backpack, walked back to the train station, hopped on plane, and in the morning I was back in Poland, like, surprise! I'm back. All right, I'll share that with you really quick.
But a real man admits his fears. That's what I'm asking you to do here tonight. Who wants to start? Fears, let's talk about it. Fears.
Hey, I'm scared of spiders, Coach.
Well, that's not what I meant.
Me too, Coach. I'm afraid of spiders too, Coach. Yeah. Goddamn spiders freak me too, fellas.
Well, I didn't mean that, though. What I'm talking about...
Especially in your bed, man. Ever get one of those spiders crawling up your arms, man?
And they be crawling on you, man. Oh,
damn.
Oh, thanks, Jumbo. You can just rock me to sleep tonight.
Okay, that's great, but that's not what I'm talking about. What I'm talking about is what scares us on the field.
What you mean, like spiders on the field?
Can we get beyond the spiders, please?
Bees?
Bees.
Bees. Y'all know about them bees?
Anybody here afraid of anything other than insects? Huh? Come on.
Quicksand.
Oh, shit.
Hey, quicksand's a scary mother, man. I mean, first of all, it suck you right in, and even if you scream, you get all that muck in your mouth.
I don't think that's what Shane had in mind, frankly.
Huh?
That's not what he had in mind.
What are you talking about then, Coach?
Well, why don't you ask him?
Hey, what's up, Shane?
You're playing. And you think everything is going fine. But then one thing goes wrong. And then another. And another. And you try to fight back. But the harder you fight, the deeper you sink. Till you can't move. You can't breathe. Because you're in over your head. Like quicksand.
That's some deep shit, Shane. Some deep shit.
Anything else you're afraid of?
Going back to the mini-mart.
The shipping yard.
The auto plant?
Prison.
Yeah, all right. The truth is, you guys have been given something that every athlete dreams of. A second chance. And you're afraid of blowing it. We all are. But now our fear is shared and we can overcome it together.
You know, the truth is, yeah, class is a great scene. I love that. But you know, every single one of us is given a tremendous opportunity, and it's fear that holds us back from really living fully up to this opportunity. So just like I asked earlier, what is it that you have to let go of? What's the one fear that holds you back? Do you even know what's the fear that you're bumping up against again and again and again that just holds you frozen where you are? Do you have an idea what it is? Just shout out, just a couple of words. Anybody? What is it? Being wrong. I heard rejection. Failure. Going broke. Money. Yeah. You know, say again? Quicksand. Yeah, what is your quicksand? You know, I think there's really one fear. It's basically fear of loss. And it represents itself differently. You know, and I call it kind of fear of loss, fear of commitment, and fear of loss of dignity. So think about how it shows. And by the way, it doesn't just like knock on the door and say, hey, I'm fear. You want to kick me in the ass and send me away? It's very freaking sneaky. You know, you have no idea that it's fear that actually holds you back. So think about, how many of you don't have a niche right now? Wow, Kristen, you've got like a rocking crowd. Everybody knows what they're doing. How many of you are not sure what strategy to choose next, or find yourself a little confused maybe, like what to do next? Anybody? How many of you are afraid to raise a hand because you're going to think you're going to look stupid and not smart enough, right? There is that fear. So people will not commit to a niche because what if, you know, what if I'm going to lose out on this whole market because I'm focusing on those few people here? Fear of loss. You know, how many of you are like so multifaceted, you can pretty much do anything? Like when you work with clients, you can help them do amazing things, right? So isn't it hard to just stick to helping customers doing one thing? Well, what if I help people do this for a year and then everybody knows and then I'm going to lose this whole beauty of me and the essence and all those Fear of loss. Fear of, what if I devote a year of my life and then shit hits the fan and it turns out it was the wrong thing to do and I am, SOL. Fear of loss, fear of commitment. What if I put myself in the spotlight? What if I invest money in me, my company, I hire coaches, and then I fail anyway and I will look stupid? Loss of dignity. It doesn't just knock on the door and say, hey, I'm fear. Deal with me. Very sneaky, all right? So number 2 is recognize and conquer your fears. Recognize and conquer your fears. Now, how many of you have a physical fear? Like I have a severe fear of heights. Like looking down there, I get dizzy from 2-3 feet. Anybody? So now the question is, how do you recognize and conquer your fears? See, fears physically make your body feel a certain way. And the more you put yourself in a situation physically where you feel that way, when the fear shows up, you get to recognize it because you know that feeling in your stomach. So I do stupid things like, I will go as high as I possibly can because it scares the crap out of me. So just recently this year I went in there. As I'm walking up to this plane, I'm thinking, whose idea was it? This plane is like way too small and it's got no doors. What the hell? So then the worst part is, once they fly you up to the 10,000 feet and they like inch you to the door, and it's like 6 feet away from the big old giant, it's like half of the plane is missing. And then it's like 3 feet, and I'm thinking, oh no, this is like so, just getting to that is so scary. Just like you guys probably feel in here sometimes, like great ideas. I know I want to just dive in, but as you get closer to it, you're thinking like, no way in hell. No way, I'm not going. But I've got this big old guy strapped to my ass, and he's like pushing you forward. I'm like, okay. And finally he's like, okay, 1, 2, 3, ah! It's like, holy shit. And it's like, and you're falling. Now I got to tell you one thing. Once you kind of sober up and it's like you actually leveled, I don't care about anybody's sexual preferences. I've got, no begrudge to anybody. But I prefer not to have a giant man behind me. I don't care how tall and handsome he is. But I was so glad I had him strapped to my ass right there. Okay, I was like, oh, thank you. If there is ever a time for a coach or mentor, I'm like, thank you. I don't want to do this alone, okay? So, get comfortable being uncomfortable. You recognize that feeling in your... I noticed, Kristen, where I had this picture. You had this picture in your flyer thingy. I'm like, okay, I've done this. Come on, this is like child's play. So push yourself all the time. So when you have your stomach in your mouth and you're about to spit it out, that's how scared you are, you recognize this. So when it comes in business, in love, in relationships, with money, you kind of go, okay, I'm scared. But you know what happened last time I was scared? I jumped out of the plane. Guess what? I lived. I actually landed. It was cool. And the whole ride was just freaking awesome. So what if I step through the stomach in my throat anyway, and maybe I will go so fast, it somehow will place itself back where it needs to be and things will turn out okay. What if? And it's like, okay, jump in. Ah! So you have to physically recognize how to live through your fears. Recognize your fears and be comfortable being totally uncomfortable. Phone, how many of you do sailing on the phone? How many of you can ask a question to your prospect and then shut up and be there for 5 minutes totally silent? Just like, You still there? Just checking. It's uncomfortable as hell. We feel like we want to just yap away. Why? Because it's uncomfortable. But when you recognize it, you can go, okay, I'm uncomfortable, I'm scared, it's cool, I'm going to shut up anyway. All right? Next thing, you need to have support. And you think you have support, but most of us don't. And I'll tell you why. Do people on a daily basis tell you that you are doing the wrong things? But not like, what are you doing trying to build your own business? Go get a job. But like, hey, you're really screwing it up. What are you thinking? Kind of like a Gibbs smack on the head at NCIS. Like, hey, wake up. So I think we need to have 4 types of support. You need to have teachers who show you how to do things. You need to have doers, because you shouldn't be doing everything. Some things others need to do for you. Then you need to have pushers. I'm a fantastic pusher. You tell me you made $1 million, I'm like, great, why didn't you make $1.5 million? What the hell is wrong with you? Right? And then you got to have cheerleaders who always say, it's like, doesn't matter how shitty things are, they kind of go, hey, you're doing all right. So most of us suck in 2 places. Most of us don't have enough pushers, and we don't have enough cheerleaders. If you don't hear on a daily basis from people what you don't want to hear, you have no friends. Real friends tell you things you don't want to hear, but you need to hear it. All right? So who is on your team? And let me ask you a question. How many of you have heard this quote from Jim Rohn, that you basically become the average of the 5 people you hang out with? How many of you have heard this? How many of you believe this? And I think you're full of shit. And I'm going to prove it to you right now. Why don't you guys take your phones out? Take your phones out. Yeah. And you know, in any phone company, any phone, you have things like favorites. Look at your favorites. Who are the top 5 favorites? Could be business favorites. Who are your top 5 favorites? Are they the kind of people that are taking you where they need to go? Are they currently where you want to be next? Who are you talking to? Here are a few. John Osseroff, you probably know him from the movie The Secret. Martin Howie has built one company that went from 0 to $13.7 million in 9 months. Just didn't make. He had a stage 4 cancer diagnosed 3 years ago. He was given 6 months to live. Lived 3.5 years later. He's kicking cancer in the ass and just, laughing all the way through life. Jim Palmer has an amazing subscription-based business. I always want to know how he has members with him for like 3 years, when an average is 3 months. All right? Some of you know James. Rhonda, does she know how to kick fierce and has been on TV for like last 25 years, an amazing chick? Who do you hang out with? Are they the kind of, look at your community, your church, your classes, your seminars, your mastermind. Are these people at least going with you, or are they like in fear, thinking, yeah, I got on the plane, but you know what, I'm going to land on the plane too because there's sure no way in hell I'm jumping. Most of us, unfortunately by default, choose the kind of people that will just, yeah, it sounds exciting, I'm going to get on a plane, but once I'm there, just bring me down to the ground. It's okay. All right? So number 4 for you is you've got to hang out with the right people who are already currently there that you want to be next. Or at least they're heading there rapidly. Or you're not going to get there on your own. Hey, my fries are done. My morning burrito. Ding, 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 ding. All right. Are you learning anything? Is this good a little bit? So here's this place in Punta Cana. I don't know why it's so dark. Those pictures looked a lot brighter when I was drunk, let me tell you. And I don't drink. So they had this amazing shower in there. So let me ask you a question. If your business was a shower, would it be kind of like here's a knob and here's a nozzle, psh, or would it be kind of like this freaking fancy thing with 20-some jets, like water coming from everywhere? Which one? Simple or this complex, beautiful thing? Which one is your business? Simple, hands up. Okay, a few of you. The complex machinery like this deluxe diamond thing, whatever it is. And some of you are not a shower at all. You're just like I don't know. I don't know what you are. Or maybe you were a shower, but the water was turned off at the main and you just kind of like, I don't know what's happening. So just an awesome shower. Here's the thing. So I'm like butt naked going, I'm going to so enjoy the shower. And I'm there for 15 minutes going like, how the hell do you turn this thing on? Now what do? Do I like call a receptionist? Hello, can you send a maid to help me with the shower, please? I don't think that will work very well. So here's the thing. A lot of you, have this opportunity. You have an amazing talent. You've got all the components. You've been on all the free teleseminars that were given in the last 7 years, and the free webinars, and the seminars that you pay $1,000. And at the end of the day, you're kind of looking for this on and off switch. It's like, what the hell is an on switch, right? Who do you ask? Do you have someone that has a vantage point of like, been there, done that? Just push this button and magic happens. Magic happens. Number 5 is you always have to have coaches and mentors. And you've got to be careful. Coaches are sort of like trip advisors. Sometimes, not all of you. But sometimes coaches are like trip advisors. They want to send you to places they've never been themselves. They like to talk about it, but it's kind of different. Mentors are like tour guides. They've been there 100 times. They can show you all the nooks and crevices. You want to have both. Coaches often deal with your head. Mentors are like, let me just show you. Hey, there's mine. Don't step there. Don't step there. Come over here. It's different. So you got to have both. All right, next one. I don't know why this. Oh, I know there was a lesson with this. Oh, yeah. So There we go. I have to remind myself. About 3 years ago, I decided I'm going to be in the best shape of my life, which, by the way, is fascinating. When I was when Schwarzenegger was running for governor, I saw his movie Pump Iron. Is that what it's called? Pump, so whatever, Pump or whatever it was. And I saw those bodybuilders, and I saw a couple of guys, and they were like in the 40s, and they were in the best shape of their life. And I'm thinking, when I hit 40, I'll be in my best shape of my life. So have you heard of the program P90X? Yeah. I got on P90X in 90 days. I was like, oh, check this out, right? And I thought, look, in 90 days, I've transformed my body. What can you do with your life and business? If something as complex as human body can be transformed in 90 days, what can you do with the rest of the life and the business and mechanics? If you just commit and follow a few simple steps every day, what can you accomplish? But here's another thing that I realized. Why on earth did I wait till I was 40 to do that? I wrote this like I was in mid-20s. Why didn't I just go in there and do it? So be careful what you say to yourself, because sometimes you give yourself like, I will do it when? I have clients who come to me and say, I wanted to be with you like 5 years ago and 7 years ago, but now I wish I had done this, but, it wasn't the time, and now I wish that I did. All right? So you always wait for something else. But here's the thing. So I got on this P90X, and I got off the P90X, and last year I decided to do the Spartan race thing with my nephew, who is like half my age. He totally kicked my ass. And this thing, the first thing they had us run is like through this freaking cold river thing that I thought I would drown. It was all muddy and stuff. And then the next thing after this river is a hill that's just like this. So pretty much like halfway through the hill, I was done with the whole race. I'm like, okay, I'm just going to die here. Just let me be. And then halfway through this hill, they have like a jump on and jump off. And the only thing is it rains as hell. It's cold. It's up in like Santa Monica Mountains, whatever the heck. And the mud is so thick that by the time I took the first 3 steps, each of my shoes is now weighing 25 pounds because it's like caked in mud. And now they have me like jump, 3 feet up on this thing. Like I'm like, okay, I'm not doing this. This is just not happening, right? But, I pushed through it. And at the very end, you think you're done, and they still stand there with those giant things and smack you. So just as I'm crossing the finishing line, the guy like smacks me up the head, and I'm like, shh, just flying through this mud. So yeah, it didn't look pretty at the end. But you know what? The entire time I was like, okay, you know what? I'm going to finish this damn race. I don't care if I run the whole day. I'm going to finish it. I'm going to finish it. I'm going to finish it. All right? So whatever it is that you do, stick with it and finish it. Stick with it and finish it. Now, do you guys remember this guy? So you're probably wondering, right? So I went to Austria. The Canadian consulate, for some reason, did not like my good looks. Don't know what was wrong with the guy. He sent me back home packing. So how the hell did I end up here? I thought maybe I should just check out this American consulate in Poland. What do you think, right? So I go in there. Now check this out. Unknowingly to me, I went in there on Thanksgiving Day, which I had no idea that Thanksgiving even existed, right? In Poland, we didn't have. So I go in there, and there's no line. There's like a handful of people, and they go like, hey, is the consulate open today? Is it closed? They have a holiday, but we think they're going to open for half a day. Guess what? They open from like 10 a.m. till noon. And the 20 people that showed up that day, we just go in there like right into consulate, like within half an hour of me arriving there, which normally takes a year plus to get into the door. So I'm in. I'm like, oh, my God, miracle. I'm inside. I'm on American soil. So the next thing is now you like in little small lines lining up to speak to the consul. And there is one lady that's just like a man-eater. Nobody wants to talk to her. She like rips everybody's heads off. Nobody gets a visa from her. It's just, if you end up talking to that lady, sure as hell not going to America. Not happening. And you can see, like, people all line up. If her window opens, people kind of go, hey, would you like to, I'm okay. Would you like to go next? It's okay. So guess I'm first in line. Guess whose window opens? This chick. I'm like, oh, shit. But I don't know any better. I only know what people told me that, like, that they were there. They've been standing in line for months, so they have all the inside details. I don't know jack. So I show up, and she's like, well, so who are you? What do you do? Why do you want to go to America? And I'm thinking, so imagine wearing the black clothes, long hair. I have like scarves, basically, I had so many scarves over here that it kind of looked like my head was popping out of the bird's nest kind of thing, like, hey. That was so cool. So I used all my charms on this lady, and I said, hey, you know, I see all these old farts in line. They're like in 60s and 70s. They want to go to America, like stupid asses. Look, I'm still young and fit. I heard money grows on trees. I see all American movies. I mean, money grows on trees in America, so I want to go and see it for myself while I'm still young. Swear to God, that's what I said. I want to still go and see it while I'm still young and can explore all of this. And she's like, let me see your passport. She's like, come back at 4 o'clock. And I'm thinking, holy shit, I'm getting arrested. I mean, she just took my passport. What the hell? So I go back in there to this line. You know, once you step away from the window, then everybody kind of goes, how did it go? What happened? What happened? I'm like, I don't know. I think I'm in trouble. She took my passport. And this one guy looks at me and says, Sonny, you just got a visa. You just got a visa, all right? So sometimes the simplest things are the best solutions. You don't have to be someone who you are not. You don't have to say the smartest things, make up some stories. You just be yourself and just do what needs to be done, all right? But the last thing, let's see what I have in there. The last thing is I came to the United States. I had $194 in my pocket. I had a hotel paid for 10 days, and I spoke perfect English as long as I could say one of the three things. How do you do? And excuse me, do you have the time? So those are two things, actually. Now, when you responded back to me, I was like, no idea what you were saying back. So whatever you said, it all sounded good. And it got scary really fast. And then $194, I go in, I forgot what the stores were in New York, like key stores, K stores, convenience stores. Anybody knows? Circle K, I think. Now I swear I got ripped off because I went in there and bought like Coke. I'm in America, I got to have Coca-Cola. So I bought it like Coca-Cola 6-pack little bottle thingies and like a loaf of bread because that's the only thing I could figure out to buy. Everything else looked so foreign, I had no idea what to buy. And I think it was like close to $20 and I thought, I'm screwed. Out of $194, I pretty much just spent 10% on just like one meal at night, which isn't even a meal. It's like whatever that is. This is not looking good. So I went back to my hotel room. I had my ticket was opened for 6 months. So I had 6 months to rebook it, book it, decide what I wanted to do. And I stared at this ticket for like half the night, and I thought back to my trip to Austria. And I thought, you know what? It's going to get freaking dark in here very, very fast. And I'm going to be scared shitless once again. And that ticket back home, I'll walk to the airport, but I'll use that ticket to go back to safety. So what did I do? I ripped up the ticket. It's like there is no going back. There is no going back. And I have since learned that every time I wanted something, when I ripped up my return ticket, I made it happen. Think about it. When I talk to clients, they say, I'll give it a try. I said, don't bother. It's not going to happen. Why? Because you just told me. What did I just say? You said you're going to give it a try. You didn't say I'll do it. You said give it a try. Oh, no, you don't get it. I'm going to give it my best for the next 3 months. Don't bother. You just waste 3 months. There is no time limit on getting where you want to be. I don't care if it's a week, 7 years, until you're freaking 170. You're not going to give up until you get there. Folks, number 7, last lesson. Plan B is for losers. Plan B is for losers. You've got to rip up your ticket and just say, I'm going for it. There is no back way. If you're kind of thinking, well, I'm going to see what happens, and maybe meanwhile I've got like a few job open things, I'm kind of, it's like you're schizophrenic. What are you trying to do? It's like going for a swim, and you're really committed to being a swimmer, and you kind of go, holy shit, cold today. I'll come back tomorrow. I'll give it another try. No, it's like you went swimming. Go swimming. I don't care if it's supplicals in there. You find a way to swim. All right? So let me sum it up for you guys, because it was very complicated 7 lessons. The first one, let go. I don't care what it is that you got to let go of. There's at least one thing that holds you exactly where you are. Number 2, laugh at your fears. They're very sneaky suckers, so learn to recognize them and kick them where they belong. Number 3, learn to be comfortable being uncomfortable. Number 4, hang out with the right people. You've got a lot of right people right here. Always seek the right folks at your church communities, at your graduate school parties, wherever you belong. There's always a percentage that they're way ahead of everybody else. And if they are where you want them to be, that's the folks you want to be with. Number 5, have coaches and mentors. Always, 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 always. Sometimes, I always have at least a couple of people that I work with. I have one official group that I pay for. I usually have at least one unofficial group that I belong to that I form myself. And I have a bunch of unofficial mentors and usually at least one paid mentor. All right? Number 6, stick with it. Whatever you start, it doesn't matter how tough it is. You just stuff it out. If it gets tough, you get tougher. And number 7 is skip the plan B. Just rip up your return ticket. Whatever it is, decide that this is your time to rise up and be the best that you can be. My name is Adam Urbanski, and I so thank you for your time. And Kristen, you rock. Thank you, guys. Look, they're clapping for you already. Come on.
Urbanski.
Thank you, darling.
To Mr. Adam Urbanski, we say,
And her.
you rock.
Thank you. Right back at you.
Thank you.